When I came to Jackson, I would come to all these events, bro. Like they got regional volleyball, regional cheerleading. I done been to MMA fights here. Like I'm talking about full out productions, the octagon, TVs all over the walls, like real productions. So I was like, man, like the convention center is kind of cool if we use it, but the local people don't never know about these stuff.
Start with if you can just walk us through, like you've said that you were brought to this role to work on this site. What were some of the first conversations you had about this? What made you want to come and work on this project?
I go to the state working with under Bill Corkin, Mississippi Development Authority as a project manager. Then I come back 10 months later. At that time, I'm now doing external affairs for the mayor. I move around the United States pretty much handling business for the city of Jackson, right? My role in that was moving around. I went to Miami, I went to Memphis to go to regional hotel developer conferences to look for developers. Then comes this second RFP, the famous RFP or RFQ. I'm so sorry, this was an RFQ. And that was the strategy, was to change it from an RFP to an RFQ and try to find qualified developers. My primary job in that was shopping this around to developers. When HUD in March of 2024 issued a notice of discrepancy or deficiency, I'm sorry. So basically it was their finding to say that y'all been working on this project for 15, 20 years. You see what I'm saying? Y'all have not satisfied the national objective. Y'all are paying us. HUD recommended that we change the national objective from job creation to area benefit. A community park or an event space benefits the area because more than 51% of low to moderate income people have to be able to participate and engage in it. Well, once the federal indictments hit, I couldn't mention convention center hotel no more. I couldn't talk about a hotel because it was political at that time. So we kind of put the park out front because no one was expecting that. They thought we was finna keep talking about a hotel. But I was still able to do my environmentals for a hotel. I did my soil borings for the hotel, and I got a survey completed for the hotel. The interest is too, definitely, this is the highest and best use for this site, is to have a convention center hotel and an adjacent parking lot. In the short term, we can still improve the space. The original deal was the city was gonna use the $7 million to acquire the property, to bring the property to the deal for a master developer. So this was the city participating in the deal structure and just bringing, some equity to the deal. And I know that they want a parking lot, but strategically, people that visit the convention center don't park here. They park on these lots. So even if you do a parking lot right here, it's not gonna benefit the convention center. And more specifically, the convention center has been a strong supporter of this project because they know the value that it would add. They are in support of, of having an activated space to the point in which they've already kind of had several bookings just based off the conceptual renderings. Community, the citizens in Jackson deserve to see some activity. They deserve to see production. They deserve to be able to experience a nice quality of life. It's called taking the resources that you have, even if it's in small increments. And that's how you begin to build momentum. We saw it happen in Fundry. We see it happen in Austin, Texas. We see it happening in these spaces where it's just really the art community tends to come together and take what they have and make the best of it, and it begets more value. You got to start somewhere. This is just the starting point. Economic development is what you experience every day. You eat out every day. You drive down roads every day. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what you do every day. Planning is what dictates how much of that you are allowed to do and where you can do it at. The first limitation of Jackson is losing the tax base. But now once you got a tax base that's limited, then you got to look at who has control of the resources. I will say from a resource perspective, the state definitely could have been playing a bigger role. Yes, they have limited resources that just from a tax-paying perspective in the state, Jackson still pays the most taxes in the state of Mississippi, just by sheer size. You see what I'm saying? We should get money from the state, period. Leadership in Jackson for the last 20 years or 30 years has been brought to question, and that's fair. And I think that it's due to the inexperience of the candidates. But the underlying thing, and this is what my heart go out to the greater community, not just in Jackson, but in black communities across the state. We have to get better at choosing candidates. When the mayor brought me to Jackson, he wanted Dave & Buster's and a Topgolf. We knew at the time Dave & Buster's site selection criteria did not fit Jackson's footprint, but what Topgolf did is they had just decided to stop going from, I think 10-acre sites to like 5 or 6 acre sites. I got into go mode on, showing how the demographics in Jackson fit that of Topgolf, how we have 3 golf courses in Jackson. At the time, Sanderson Farm had his PGA Championship Tour in Jackson. So worked with the director of Parks and Recs at that time, followed back up with the developer. The deal fell through in Ridgeland, and that's when we got the call that Topgolf was interested in. The first site was across the street from the fairground downtown. Then we found out that they said that this site right here, the Children's Museum, is the prom queen of sites. If you get us this site, you'll have a Topgolf in 18 months. The executive leadership at the Children's Museum didn't want the project to locate on the site. The Children's Museum was offering to Topgolf this site. And this is all without me or the mayor knowing, but to demo this site. And that wasn't a good deal for us as the city because we got this Hank Aaron Sports Academy programming going on over here. Topgolf ended up walking away, and a couple months later, we heard them locating in Ridgeland. So Costco, Cirque du Soleil was having some conversations. I mean, there's conversations, but the Topgolf was the closest one in my tenure. Northwest Industrial Park was kind of hitting home to me because Hawkins Field is actually clean. It has, very little vacancy. But when I came out here and saw the magnitude and the size of it and the condition that it was in, is when we began to pay particular attention to it. Out of that, we learned about two different things. We learned about the roads and the need to repave and widen the roads. And then we learned about the resiliency. The resiliency is like with your power lines. And whenever winds will blow or they get a tough storm, the power lines will go down and, they will lose power. So we worked with Entergy to identify some of these weakened power lines, and Entergy worked with us to get that done. I was able to step in, and my guy Mike Davis worked with Entergy to get this as an Entergy certified site. So we was able to get a $150,000 grant from Mississippi Development Authority. So it took me 3 or 4 years, but just approved the last meeting under the Lumumba administration that the 1% sales tax did agree to repave the streets around the Northwest Industrial Park. That is a huge win. But site development is the name of the game. Identifying, large tracts of land, clearing that land, just making sure you got your utilities in the dirt. So your water capacity, sewer, electrical, so your power capacity, especially with all these EV related businesses, battery manufacturers or data centers. Those are large power consumers, large capital X. To get in the game of development, when people say, why can't we get the Amazon? Why don't we have the Continental Tires or the Milwaukee Tool? I think we still have the Milwaukee Tool here, but one, you're looking at the size of your footprint, how much land, how much contiguous land do you have, and how ready is that site? Because companies are ready to move in quickly. These large industries, they might be spending, $100 billion, like they're losing $10 million a month that they're not open, right? And that's one thing that Hinds County right now is not even in the game. We're not even a part of the conversation largely because we don't have any site ready, shovel ready sites. And I think it's important for all people, the county supervisors, the City of Jackson Board and Council or Council to understand the value. It's not sexy. It don't guarantee you're gonna land anything. But if you want to compete in the industrial space, you have to develop your sites. I'm glad that we were able to get across the finish line to get these streets paved and to work towards getting our Entergy site certification, which is just one step towards, building credibility that your site is prepared for development. The biggest thing I was able to accomplish is busting up that concrete across the street from the convention center. That is huge. And ancillary, I think that to the magnitude of what this could do and what it contributes towards, yeah, I'm really proud of this because this is economic development. This is traditional industrial development. Hopefully the new executive director, Hinds County, can pick it up and get it, keep moving towards a finish line. So